Today we have gathered here to discuss on this topic I have chosen. It's called Dawn of Truth or the Enlightenment. I say this, we are discussing because I want you to involve in this talk. So, this is the good time to talk on this topic, We are celebrating the Vesak Day and why we have to celebrate Vesak and why it's so important. That's the meaning of this topic actually. So, we have to, when we talk on this topic, we have to start with the basics. I think most of you, I believe, I assume that you all know about the Buddha's life. He was born into a royal family, not like us. Was very fortunate. In fact, he had developed all the skills to choose where he should born and where he want to born, and everything was decided. And he was destined to be the Buddha. He was at the Tusita heaven before and waiting for the time to come and come to the human world and born into the family that help him or support him for his endeavor to become the Buddha. So in the first row you see that the most important events of the Buddha's life. He was born into this royal family. His father was King Suddhodana and mother was the Devi Maya. And the third picture, this one you have to remember, later we discuss on that. The third picture is very important. So he was always a different person, not like other child or children. He always had this the temperament, the character that he questioned things. Whatever he see, he just examine and question. That's the nature of a bodhisattva. You see the third picture, he was just 7 years old at that time. He was meditating under a tree while the others were entertaining themselves because that was the plowing ceremony. So he just went into under a tree and was examining the nature, how this nature worked, and finally he had attained into this meditative state of mind. We call it jhanic level. Later we discuss on that also. So he attained the jhana at this because he had developed this before in his previous lives. And the other things also, that he had this very luxurious life. His father wanted him to be a king. In fact, a universal monarch, very powerful king. And he dreamed about that and always wanted his son to go on that path, not the other way. So what he did, he gave everything that he could give to his son to make him attached to the worldly things. He built 3 palaces, royal palaces with everything. Normal person can, always dream to have, all the luxuries. At the time, being a king is always a good thing, They had everything. Whatever you ask for, you get. What I'm telling this, because finally he made a decision to leave all this. That's why we have to think. This is the time we should appreciate the the hardship that he went through. We are all here because of that humble beginning. And it was not easy. So to appreciate that, we have to sit and understand and discuss on this. Then only you appreciate. Sometimes when you go into the shrine room and you see the Buddha, you respect, maybe you ask for blessing, sometimes good fortune and all that, but there's a story behind. You should always remember and appreciate and show your gratitude. So this is the time to discuss on that. So then he had this very luxurious childhood, and then he was when he was 16 years old, with the parents' arrangement, he got married to a beautiful queen called Yashodhara. There's a very long story about that the relationship also. They have been in this samsaric journey for a long time, and that all came into to be there for him to support, to make that decision. If that was not Yashodhara, maybe he has to come back. So all these things, it's not just one single life incident, it's just a samsaric journey that they came together, all of them. The father, mother, they all came together for a long time for this to happen. You have to appreciate all of their hard work and the compassion they had. And finally he got married. Though his father tried to make him attached to this worldly pleasure and keep him in the palace and make him the king, the universal monarch that his father always wanted to be, he always was thinking about the life. What is the meaning of life? He had everything, but he knew there's something lacking in life. He had everything that a normal person could imagine, but still there's something lacking. He's not happy. So he thought that to himself, there should be a way to attain that everlasting happiness. I must find that. That thought always disturbed him. But there must be something that really motivates you. Then these four sides came to be, for him to make that decision. Really shock him to the core, and I must go. That thought came to his mind because of these four sides, it says. The first one is sick man, right? Some say it the other way also. Just take this way. Yeah, the person who's sick, lying on the bed. That's what he saw the first day. He wanted to see the town. He was feeling boring. Always staying at the palace. He got everything, but that's what he wanted. He just wanted to see the world. So that's the first thing he saw. The second one, it says, old person. The third one, it's a dead body. And the fourth one is a monk. Yeah. Has anyone seen these four sides in your life? Maybe sometime we all are we have a whole thing, right? The full package. But it does not affect the same way that it affected the Bodhisattva, right? But for him, he was a different person, very intellectual, because of his character, that these four sides really make a big impact on his mind. This is the last one, the monk, was his decision. He thought, I must leave the palace and follow the path of that monk, because that time, actually that was the trend. Not only him, there were so many other ascetics who renunciate into the ascetic life and was searching for enlightenment. That's why I said it's a trend. There were so many. At the time of the Buddha, there were 62 other religious leaders. Religion, you could say. Because that was the trend. They were so tired with this Brahmin religion, they were so controlling, and they all wanted to find the meaning of life, truth. That was the trend. So nowadays we have other trends, so we don't have time to renounce the life and go into monkhood, and we have everything, but we don't want to try that. So time to time is been changing. It's also part of nature, I would say. That will never happen. That trend never come back. So everything is has a time. So later we discuss on that. So he made the decision to leave the palace and start this ascetic life. Let's go back. So as I said, it was a very difficult decision to be made. But he made it. As a prince, with all the luxuries, he made this decision to go into a jungle without any of those luxuries. Just like from heaven, you fall into the very lower realm, right? With all the difficulties. There's no guarantee you will have your lunch tomorrow. It's a big decision. You just think, try to put this into, to you, You put into this situation, think that whether you will make that decision or not, if you are a prince. You all try to become the prince and princess, but he as a prince decided to leave. So it's a big decision, you have to always appreciate. That's why this is the time you should appreciate it, Vesak. And then after 6 years, by the way, he was 29 years old at that time. And then 6 years, he did go through all these difficult practices. He went to so many other teachers that was very well known at the time. They had meditation practice and all this higher state of mind development, and also so many other kind of practices. Some they believe torturing your body, you end the suffering and attain the enlightenment. Even today, if you go to India, you can see some of them practicing those kind of extreme, we call it self-mortification, right? Yeah. Even today that exists in India. India is a wonderful place, you should go, and that's where the spiritual people, they have been doing that for almost 3,000 years, still they continue to do that. I'm not encouraging you to practice this, but to observe, Yeah. So, in his own word, he said, sometime I practiced this, we call bruta. It's like you try to behave like an animal, torturing you, just like a cow. You just eat with them, sleep with them, You don't take shower or bath, bathe yourself, just like them, The way that they follow. By torturing your body in that extent, they believe you might overcome the suffering, attain the happiness, everlasting happiness. They tried everything. So even Buddha tried. And finally, this is what make him look like. In his own word, he said, I intending to touch my belly skin, I would instead seize my backbone. So try to do that. You don't touch your backbone, right? No, I'm not. So when I touch, when I intend to touch my backbone, I would seize my belly skin. That also not the case in my case. So it's the same for you. So we are not practicing this kind of modification, self-modification, right? So because that happened because of the lack of sufficient food. He said, I almost died. Actually, he almost died. That week is. This is Buddha's own word. Then, though he was physically very weak and there's no energy for him to walk even, his mind was very clear. That's the nature of people who develop their mind. Your physical body is very weak, but the mind is very clear. At this stage, he remembered something. That third picture. He remembered what he attained when he was 7 years old, under the tree. He attained the jhana, not by practicing this extreme torture, right? Just by simple meditation practice. So he called it the middle path. Don't torture yourself to the extreme in search of happiness, or give all the luxuries or comfort your body that also block or hinder the clarity of your mind. You don't see the truth. Always follow the middle path. And then this famous painting is about the Buddha accepting the milk rice that was offered to him on the day before he attained the enlightenment. So this meal was very important because even after enlightenment, he spent 7 weeks, 48 days I think, without food. So we should say big sadhu to Sujata. He had this opportunity to offer the milk rice to the ascetic Gautama. Because his name was Siddhartha, but his family name was Gautama. So some people call him Gautama, ascetic Gautama, even ascetic the Gautama, the Buddha later. And then following that, the experience that he had when he was 7 years old, he sat under the Bodhi tree. Now his the physical body also supporting his concentration, and he had the energy to last for a few days without any food also. And he just sat under that Bodhi tree, start meditating, and he attained the first jhana. Later I will explain about the jhana. It's a clear state of mind, very calm and clear. At this level, when you attain the first jhana and second and the third and the fourth, your mind is very calm and pure, you can even develop other knowledge. In Buddha's case, he developed this jnana, or the knowledge, we call it Puppe Nivasanusati, the reminiscences of the past birth. That means he can remember his past lives, not just one or two. He just direct his mind into the past, and he starts seeing he was such and such in his previous lives. Just start with one life, two lives, three lives, like that, and he could remember so many lives back into the past. We call that Pubbē Nivāsa Nusati Jnana. And then he realized this is not the only life we have. We have so many lives back into the past. There's no beginning, uncountable lives. So that's the first knowledge he gained. And the second one, after this knowledge, he developed this one. It's called Chatupapata Jnana. How about the others? Or the perception of the disappearing and reappearing of the beings. He directed his mind to see how about the others. It might be only me that have been traveling in the past, or the others are the same. That's the question here. Then he saw the other people also, other living beings also the same. So they born into this world as a result of their past birth, and then they will go to the next life as a result of this life. So this is the second knowledge he developed. And finally, he developed this jnana we call asavakkhaya jnana, the comprehension of the cessation of corruption. That means, okay, if there is a journey like that, how to end this journey? Is there a way to end this journey if someone think that way? Because he was looking for that, he wanted to end the journey, not to continue. Because when you think back, there are so many lifespan to the past, and also future. We don't know how many lifespan we had to spend. So he wanted to end the journey, and this is what made him that happen, or this knowledge, asavakkhaya jnana. So by developing this jnana, he found the way to end this sansaric journey, cut off the need for another life. So that is what we call attaining Nibbana, or the dawn of truth. Okay, so this, I try to put this in simple terms, but it's a very deep concentration and also very advanced level of mind, that to attain this kind of concentration. So being delivered, he knew, delivered am I. And here he realized rebirth is ended. Fulfilled the holy life. Done what was to be done. There is no more of this state again. He called Khina Jati in Pali, in his terms, Vimuttosmi, Khina Jati. Usitam Brahmacharyam Katang Karaniya, that's the word. Naparang Ittataya. It's like he was so happy. It's not the happiness that we experience with the mundane things. It's another level of happiness, he experienced. We call bliss of Nibbana. Then he knew, I have attained the Nibbana. This incident took place 500 years ago in India. So that's the day we are celebrating as the Vesak. One of the reasons why we celebrate the Vesak. So, when you see the Buddha, or any Buddha statue in that case, how do you feel? How old is he? When you see the Buddha statue, how you feel it? It's like a senior monk or young monk? Huh? Young monk, huh? Yeah. What was the age when he attained the Buddhahood? 35, very young. That's the age. So, we start our spiritual journey when we get older. But we should encourage the younger generation, because even the Buddha attained the enlightenment at that age. So that's the right time to attain any kind of, even in lay life, the things that you achieve in your life, that's the right time to achieve it. All the successful the person in today's world also achieve their goals at this age. This is the right time. So when you remember the Buddhas, when you go to respect the Buddha into a shrine room anywhere, you should think that it should remind you that he attained the Buddhahood at a very young age, and he lived for 80 years as a Buddha for 45 years. So this story you should remember, you should have in your mind, With that only you should respect the Buddha. He attained this without any help from any other teachers. Thus make him a different person. Remember we said that he attained jhana. He developed jhana, and also there were so many others who can attain jhana at the time. That is not a Buddhist thing. But beyond that is we call becoming an enlightened person. That's what Buddha invented or revealed to the world. That's what he understood or realized. That realization came to him without any assistance from any other teacher or someone, even not from heaven. It's a very human. As a human being he was born. As a human being he attained the Buddhahood. As a human being he passed away. What is this, you think? So I try to put this enlightenment into very simple terms. I don't know that this will work or not. What do you think? Yeah, this is the Thomas Edison's first successful bulb model. Yeah. This bulb is made out of the materials, the glass and some of the metals, right? Yeah. Where they brought these materials from, you think? From another planet? It was from this earth. So then, do you think at the time of the Buddha, even before that, do you think they had this material available in this world? 3,000 years ago? Just the material, not the bulb. Yeah. Silica. Yeah, silica and everything, yeah? So then why they could not make light bulb?
They are not enlightened.
Enlightened on this particular thing, right? Because this thing was hidden in the nature as a secret. There's a time and a person or some people have to come to this world and invent or find out this secret that hidden in the nature and reveal to the world. Now we have all kind of light bulbs and all shapes. Yeah, so many kind of things. So all the inventions that human being created has a story behind it. Before that, everything was in a material form. Nobody knew how to put them together and create that particular thing. In the same way, this secret of enlightenment also hidden in this nature. Only a person with that kind of development, that kind of practice, skill, had to come into this world and find that secret. That's what happened. The enlightenment is, what is the enlightenment? Enlightenment means the way to escape this samsaric journey. You don't have to know to continue the journey. It will happen. Now you are like this, and you will in this name and all that. Then next moment, next life, you will be somewhere else as a different person or different being. It will continue by itself. But if someone wants to end it, there should be a way to do it. That always hidden from us. That's that's how the nature works. I don't have an example here. If you take the mango fruit, there are two parts, right? One is the seed, the other one is the flesh. So, if the mango tree, what's the use of that fruit for the mango tree? Why a tree bear a fruit? To continue the reproduction, right? Continue the generation, next generation. So what continue that? With the seed. Then why the tree has to work so hard to make a fruit? Why the tree doesn't only make the seed? You need a carrier, someone who bring that seed to somewhere else and plant in a different place. The nature designed everything in that way. But we human beings never get attracted to that seed, but we get attracted to the flesh, tasty flesh. You see the trap, huh? So we are all in a trap. Everything else that we do, that we feel like happiness, we enjoy, is a trap, the part of this nature. That's how this nature works. So all these are the secret that Buddha invented, is hidden in this worldly pleasures. We realize life is not a happy thing and all that when you get older. Nobody enjoys the old age, right? Yeah, nobody enjoys that. But when you start realizing that, what happened? They send you the ticket, go. Then you start again with the baby. As a baby, everything is very smooth and happy. You forget the past. That's how the nature works. The nature wants you to be in this world and get attracted to all these worldly pleasures, not to see the truth. So, only a person who has developed all these skills, we call the paramitas. There are 10 skills that a person, perfections we call it, can see this truth, can see the things as really they are. So that's what I wanted you to know. Just like this invention, it is hidden in the nature. Only a person with that kind of intellectual capacity could see this and find out and reveal to the world. Some they can find out, but they cannot reveal it to the world. Those enlightened one, we call it Pacceka Buddha. So the Samma Sambuddha, in the Buddha's case, it's a very rare thing. It takes long time for the next Buddha to appear in this world. Because it's a very difficult journey. We easily give up. You don't even want to renounce the world. So they have to attain it. So what's the time? How many minutes? Okay. So 9 is correct? Huh? 9 o'clock. It's a good time. So okay. Now he invented this, to find out the secret, then he revealed to the world, the others also can follow this. And he has explained step by step, and he did that. So he explained how to attain the enlightenment. Everyone can try, and most of them can attain in this life. And everyone can attain in whatever, not maybe in this life, but in the future. You should all start, and then there will be a day that you can attain this enlightenment. So that's a step-by-step guide for this attaining enlightenment. Please pay your attention and try to understand these steps. If you are interested in, you can later study on this and also put into practice. The first thing on this journey is, we call it the morality, the sila. Because our human mind, as I said, always controlled by nature, we get attracted to the things, the mundane things, the worldly things, and we just keep enjoying, and we think those are the things that make you happy. We forget this spiritual life. And if someone wanted to enter that, the first thing they should do to practice the sila, just like Panchasila in your daily life. If you cannot practice Panchasila, the next step is more difficult. So the first thing, start with a very simple practice, is the sila. We just observe the sila and then try to keep it. It's like controlling your mind. Don't let the nature to fool you. That's the first practice. The second one is called Samadhi. It's the development of your mind. That level need practice, meditation. And the third one is the wisdom. When you complete that, the second level, Samadhi, only you can go to the next level. That is, we call wisdom. That's when you attain the enlightenment. When you come to sila, the morality, these are the basic, the morality practice that you can observe. Even as a lay person, you can observe this and practice. And the second step, the samadhi. Samadhi is, we call it, one-pointedness of the mind, which is we don't have all the time. What we have is this. Okay. So this is to explain how our mind works. This is the old television. I think you all have seen this television. Yeah. So now this television is on a state that it's like no signal. Have you tried this? You try to the analog antenna, turn here and there and get the channel. So our mind also works the same way. We have a state that the mind stay when we don't have activities. When you go to sleep, also, let's say you are unconscious, your mind stay at this level, state. We call it bhavanga, okay? So that state you don't have any signal. Where you get the signals? You have all these senses. When you see something, or the light hit your eye, and that send a signal, electronic, it's the same way that just how this light, all these things work, electrical signal to your brain, and that's how you create. In that case, it's the brain, but in the Buddhist way, we call it the vijnana. So there's a more advanced explanation for that. So, okay, just now you are in an idle state, no signal, no inputs from any senses. Now let's say you see something, then that the idle state get disturbed, you start seeing something. Let's say you see this water bottle, and you see in it that experience. So that's, now you are thinking about this water bottle and all that. So the thoughts appear. That's how it works. Sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste, and also the mind itself. When you dream, that inputs come through your mind. That is not ideal state. When you dream, it's not ideal state. So make sure that when you are in a bhavanga state, that means you are sleeping without any dreams, or unconscious. Like let's say you go through a surgery or something. That so you have to experience. Don't wish to experience that. So that's how the mind works. Okay, now we are still talking on this how to attain the Samadhi. So to understand that, we have to understand how our mind works, right? So remember, we have the mind always has this idle state and also a disturbed state that most of the time we have. We hear something, or we smell something, we taste something, thus your mind get disturbed and you are having thoughts. We call you're thinking, you're living. So if not, that's you are not doing any activities, then your mind stays at the bhavanga state. So when you try to practice meditation or the Samadhi, first thing you have to understand how your mind works, and then you have to understand about your character. It says there are 6 characters that we are all belonging to. Sometimes we are not one character, we have two characters also. So altogether we have 63 types, So we are belonging to any one of those characters. Some are lustful characters, some hateful characters, and some ignorant characters. One that we try to explain something, never understand, that kind of one, ignorant. Some devout temperaments. They're so devoted, they just believe whatever we say, that kind of character. So intellectual temperament, for them it's very easy to attain this Samadhi and enlightenment, because it's very easy for them to understand things. Even in the Buddha clearly mentioned, there are people, there are 4 kind of people. Some they call, they can, within this life, just by simple explanation, they can attain. They don't even have to practice meditation. They can attain Nibbana. Okay? Uggatitanya they call. Then Vipatitanya, Nyaya and Padaparama. The last one, you can make the spirit and point to their core, but still they don't understand. So that kind of character. So there are different kind of characters that, always that you have to understand what kind of character you are, first. So when you choose or understand what your character is, then you can choose your meditation subject. There are 40 meditation subjects that practiced by the Buddhists the people under the Buddha's teaching. It doesn't mean that these are the only subject we can choose from. There can be so many others, but in the history of Buddhism, they said they practice these 40 subjects for all kind of the people with all kind of those characters. These 40 subjects is enough for them to attain the enlightenment. So the first one is called the kasinas. The kasina means you actually have to make a device as your meditation. In that case, it's object. So the others, the second one is the 10 impurities, like you meditate on a dead body. Now it's not available. At the time of the Buddha, they had open cemeteries that monks went into, and maybe today still nobody want to try that. That's the way they meditate last time. So the fourth one is the four modes of sublime conduct. Brahma Vihara, Metta Karuna. You practice that, right? Metta meditation is under this category, number D. Under the number E, the perception, loathsomeness of material food, we call ahare patikula sanya. And the other one is Chatudhatu Atana Sanna, that Dhatu means the Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, the elements. We can take them as the meditation subject. Then the other one is Arupa Jhana, which most people find it difficult for them to practice. For the normal person, we can recommend the 10 kasinas. Also, like Anusati, under the Anusati you get the Anapanasati and all that, the breathing meditation and all that. Just choose one of these to practice, because you have to attain the Samadhi, the first level of concentration. You have to choose one of these. The first thing, you choose your character and choose the suitable meditation subject for your character. If there was Buddha here, then he can examine you and give you the character. Even some experienced monk with meditation can suggest you something, examine you what kind of character you are. We can examine people, but not good at like the monks or the Buddha, who had a very highly developed mind. So let's take the kasinas, the first 10, with the details. Like the first one is called earth kasina. You take the earth as the meditation object. The second one, water, fire, air, and then 4 colors like blue, yellow, red, white, and then you can take the light as the meditation object, and also space. Suppose you take the first one, earth kasina, the earth as the meditation object, how you practice. There's a details explanation how you should make that device. We use them as a device, So when you make the earth kasina device, we call it mandala. You have to do it this way. So you have to take at that time of the Buddha, they used some the mat, also the the skin of dead animal, not kill and get that. It was available at the time. So just take that, and you have to draw a circle. The circle must be, it explained, circle of about 1 span and 4 fingers in the diameter, right? And that circle, you have to apply a paste of very fine soil. You collect it from a river bank. At that time they said Ganges river, that color. You have to get that color, the particular, all the things is not, the soil that you collect from other places like red color and all that is not, because that will mix with other casinas, other devices, because the color is very important. So that's why we choose, I try to match the color, but it's not exactly the same, but it's the color of dawn, that color. Or in other terms they explain, take the color from the Ganges river. You make that device and you keep that, you have to find a suitable place. Normally when they practice meditation, they go into a place like under a tree, cave, somewhere you didn't get disturbance. Actually the place is very important in meditation practice. You just choose the place. We can discuss that later some other days if you are interested. And you choose the place and you go and you place the device in front of you and with the open eye. When you practice the breathing meditation, you close your eyes, but in this case you practice the meditation with open eye and keep it in front and just say, this is earth, 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 and what you do, you try to bring your full attention to one single object. Remember that the television in the idle state, you get only one input. Normally you get all the inputs, right? Even while you are listening to me, you can hear things and you can remember things. Your mind is not settled. If you want to attain that the Samadhi, that concentration, one-pointedness, you have to mindfully practice. This is not happening just one single day. You have to practice long time to attain this, Anyway, that when you do that, everything is clear. Your mind only bring your attention to this particular things only. The other things you don't hear anything. So that kind of mental state that you attain when you do that. So when that person, if you we practice this for weeks or months, he would be able to visualize the object with closed eyes. That means you keep looking at this and say that this is earth, nothing else disturb you. But now when you see that, you see everything very clearly, that this object, this device, it's like real time that you experience this. You are seeing and your mind only see this and you experience only this. But the next moment when you close, you should be able to visualize the same image as you looking at it. Yeah. So that's the next step. We call that Uggaha Nimitta. Okay? And then when you keep practicing more, you attain the second level, we call Patibhaga Nimitta. That means it's not like that the electrical signal that go to your brain and you create that image. It's a conceptualized image, the second state. I'll try to explain that this way, like, you eat something, okay? You eat something, just something that your favorite food. When you eat, that sensation, that taste good, and you experience that, right? The real taste. But when you think it now, it's not the real taste, but you have a conceptualized taste, experience. The same thing. So same thing goes to this, but in a different experience. I think that's clear. I don't know how else to put that into words. So again, that this Uggaha Nimitta, when you try to attain, when you try to visualize that, the first is like very blur vision. Not clear. When the Patibhaga Nimitta, the second stage is very clear, just like you are looking at that particular thing. So it should be that level you attain to call it Patibhaga Nimitta. At this level, the mind has developed into a very clear state of mind. So then we come to the Samadhi. The first one is called Upachara Samadhi. At this level, you don't deal with that image or the conceptualized image and all that. At this level, you are experiencing kind of bliss. We call it one-pointedness. That this what do you call? The last part, you see that are temporarily inhibited by means of one-pointedness. They call ekagata, piti. It's like happiness that you experience. Vitaka, sukha, and vichara. So that at that level, all that the nivaranas, the defilements, temporarily inhibited, but it's not permanently. But your mind is very clear. You are in a very different state of mind. We cannot explain in with the mundane words. It's a different level of. So the second one is called arpana. This is a very firm and established concentration of one-pointedness of your mind. Very high level of concentration. This is no disturbance, nothing. So at that level, we call it jhana. Remember that he attained jhana when he was 7 years old? That kind of high state of mind he could attain when he was 7 years old. It's not by merely, the one life experience, because he had practiced that before so many times. For a normal person, you have to start, then only you continue. So those who attain the enlightenment are the one who had practiced before, and that's how they could understand the Buddha's message very easily and end the samsaric journey. And we are still traveling. And then at this jhanic level, you can develop some other knowledge, like in the Buddha's case, Buddha developed that he could see the past and how other people born into this world, and that's knowledge. So anyone can practice this knowledge. We call the first one divine eye, divine ear, like things that you can see from afar, hear things from afar, and all these things. And also you can remember your past, but not like the Buddha. There's a limit for that. Parachitta vijanana jnana. You can read others' mind. Maybe it can motivate you. That also good if you think, You always like to read other people's mind. And all the other iddhivida is the one like the psychic powers, You can float on the water, that kind of thing. So this is the level, you have to attain. Those are different knowledge, You doesn't have to develop this to attain enlightenment. But those who develop this and attain enlightenment only could do those kind of psychic things. Others cannot do. Even during the Buddha's time, the Venerable Moggallana was the one who mastered all this, He could even, there was no other monk, Arahant, among all the other Arahant also could perform those kind of activities, because it's a different knowledge. Again, that you don't have to practice all this to attain Nibbana, but this is the step-by-step guide for you to attain. There are some Arahant we call Sukha Vipassaka, who only attain enlightenment by listening to Dhamma. They don't have to practice those steps, but the thing is, they just attain the enlightenment, but they don't have any other knowledge, the skills. So you choose whatever the way. But for this to happen, Also, you have to develop your mind in many lifespan. This is the one that very intellectual, just by listening to very small Dhamma show, you can understand or you can attain the enlightenment. There were arahant like that at the time of the Buddha. So those are the hindrances that block the vision of this enlightenment. The kama chanda, sensual desire, and ill will, sloth and torpor, tinamidda, restlessness, worry. So these things only to be dispelled by attaining enlightenment. Before that, those things cannot be completely eradicated. So to attain this jhanic level and all that, you don't have to be a Buddhist also. Even before the Buddha, there were some who had already practiced it and attained. The problem is those who attain that does not guarantee that they stay there forever, because it can always change. You can come back to normal mindset. So that's the problem. Yeah. So this is temporary state. When you stop practicing meditation, you can be back to normal mindset. So this is from here on, we call it insight, vipassana. This make this enlightenment different from other religion, and also the one who enlighten never come back. They end the samsaric journey. To do that, first you have to attain the samadhi. Remember, the morality, samadhi, and the wisdom, enlightenment. So this is the last and the third stage. This stage, what you do, now your mind is very clear and you have developed all that, high skills. And then what you do, you analyze how the mind works. This level, you don't take all the inputs, you just, still you are alive, right? You're not in a deep sleep or something. Actually, this is the level we call awake. We are now in a sleep. We are daydreaming, So when we actually start seeing how this thing works and how things really are, then only you see you are awake, That's we call Buddha the awakened one, because he is the one who see things clearly, how this really work, If not, we are just in a sleep, in a daydream. So what is, when you analyze the whole thing, the life itself. What is life mean? It's just nama and rupa. So nama means the mind. See, the other part is the rupa, the physical body. These two coexist together. That's what we call we are living. Without the body, we cannot exist. But there are places, it's a different state of mind. There are 31 planes of existence, right? You can be a human, animal, most of the places, this mind and body coexist. The mind cannot exist without the body. We call nama and rupa. So when you analyze, when you are in that level of meditation, insight meditation or the vipassana, you start analyzing, then only you realize what life really is. So this is how I try to put this into simple terms. I don't know, make you simple or more. So if you take your body, if you analyze, this is the general way that we analyze our body, right? So there are 92 elements that occur naturally on earth. That's part of nature. Out of these 92, there are 6 of them. The first 6 we just borrow to build this physical body. That's how we make. Is a part of this nature. We just borrow that, So when we die, all these things will rejoin with the nature and create something else. So the material that used in this microphone, I'm sure there are some carbon here. These carbon atoms, atomic level, was in someone's body at the time. That's for sure. That's how it works. So when you analyze, that's how you analyze. Then you see, the body is just a collection of some matters, nothing else. You see the very delicious food, a beautiful flower. There's no such a thing. It's just a collection of. It's the way that the pattern you arrange those atoms create such a illusion that you think this is such and such. The body also like that. Nothing else. That's how you see things in a vipassana way. The same way you analyze your mind at that level, and then you realize that every experience is just a thought process. It's not just one entity. If you see something, and you say that you have seen something, that also has a beginning, stay and end. It's just a process. You yourself is a energy flux. It just continue through this samsaric journey. But temporarily you think, I am like this, and so that the nature blinds you, as I said before. If not, there's nothing. Just actually, if you dig into deeper, even more deeper, even the matters also, at some level, is just a state of energy. So it's just a illusion, an illusion created by this nature that you cannot get rid of it unless you put this into practice. Then only you can escape this. We are in a trap. So if you want to escape, there's no other way. This is the only way. So when you realize that, when you analyze that, that person realized, the person has ended the journey and attained the Nibbana. The first stage of Nibbana we call Sotapanna. If someone attained this level, that person never return. That person is guaranteed to end the samsaric journey, attain the enlightenment. So those who wish to do that should follow this step and try to attain the Sotapanna. Because once you attain that, you don't need others' guidance or anything. It's guaranteed that you will end your journey. So it's like this. It's just like this, it's plain. When you blow it, it will extinguish, right? Nothing remains. Where the light went, there's no such a place. Just end there. It just end there. The same way, because it's an energy, it's a process, right? This is the process. There's a medium to be burned, and oxygen and all that support. All this coexist. When one of these things cut off, light blow off, right? So the same way, when you cut off the desire for next life by the means of practicing meditation and attaining enlightenment, you don't have a reason. You don't condition for you to have another life. You're in the samsaric journey. That's what Buddha, that's the secret that Buddha invented almost 2,500 years ago. So that's the message I wanted to share with you today. I hope you understand this, at least get the simple understanding on this subject. if you put into practice, only you realize what that experience really is. So I wish you all to understand this and attain the Nibbana and end the samsaric journey as soon as possible. Yeah. By the way, don't try this at home because you need a place suitable for you to attain this.
Brothers and sisters, any questions?
By hearing the Dhamma and understand the Dhamma, the Nikaya lah, then you can be a Sotapan.
Yeah, that's why I said just now. There are some people who are really intellectual. They can, without practicing all this, they can just enter the final state inside. But that not in the most people case, They are not born, just in the last birth that they can do it. They have been practicing for a long time to attain that. Those kind of the lucky ones already end the journey at the time of the Buddha. They born into to this world when the Buddha born into this world. Sometimes they all at the same, waiting there to born into this world when the Buddha comes. So next chance, if someone want to do that, the next chance is the time where when the next Buddha appear in this world. So yeah, long time. Yeah.
Yeah, Bhante, other than meditation, right?
Yeah.
The Mahayana is constant chanting, reading a mantra. Would that also reach to that the jhana states? Repeat.
No, it's clearly mentioned that if you want to born into, there are 31 planes of existence, right? So if someone develop the jhana, and at the last moment when you die, you attain the jhana and you end your life, then you can born into a place like that and wait for a long time. And sometimes you can attain the other state of mind there in the heavenly realms. But only for those who practice and attain the jhana can do it. Because those who attain jhana, it doesn't mean that they always stay that mindset. Even the Buddha, he attained the samapatti when he needed. Every day morning, 2 times actually, he attained this nirodha mahakaruna samapatti, that is state of mind. He had to do it. If not just normal other time, he's just like a normal human being. There's a different, it's not like always they stay that state. He attained that, then only he see the people who need support, Yeah. Even when he passed away, he attained the Nirodha Samapatti, and that's how he slowly passed into the Mahaparinibbana. So those who wish to attain, have enjoyed that kind of bliss, they have had to attain jhana and go into that kind of, Suddhavasa. There are the realms like, the future Buddha is in Tusita heaven. You can born into that if you mindfully do that. It's guarantee. So there are people who can do it, but not by practice or saying this chanting and all that. Only through pure insight, meditation can do it.
Any more questions, brothers and sisters? Okay, if there's no more questions, our highest thanks to Bhante Dhammaloka for the very excellent sharing.